welcome back to a very special episode of the Wasted Potential Podcast. I'm Kellen, here with my co-host Caleb.
What's up?
And we have a very special guest today, Chase.
How's it going, guys?
How we doing, Chase?
I'm doing good. How are you guys
How's it
today?
going? I'm doing pretty
We're
good.
doing good.
Boys, I'm stoked right now.
Yeah,
I know.
This is pretty sick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't this kind of cool?
We got a whole setup going.
So for those audio listeners, wave to camera 1, wave
yeah.
to camera 2.
Audio, if you're listening on Spotify or anything,
Yeah.
that's fine. You're just not gonna be able to see us. But if you go check out YouTube, you can see our faces, face reveal.
Yeah,
What's
this is a pretty cool video we got going on right now. Chase has
Yo,
hooked
shout
us
out
up
Chase,
with the
man.
cameras,
Yeah.
and we're recording everything in our tech room. Everything's pretty crazy.
Yeah, got the Wasted Potential logo.
Yeah, we got the logo up
Pretty
there.
dope. I think it's dope. I mean,
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
Um,
Pretty cool.
real quick, Kellen's got some merch.
I got some merch.
I got
Caleb's
some merch.
I don't have merch.
He doesn't have merch yet,
I don't have
but
merch.
I don't know when this is gonna be out.
Okay.
But probably later this weekend sometime. So if you're seeing this, most likely the merch has dropped. If not, it's gonna be out in like literally 2 to 3 days.
So everybody check the links.
So yeah,
Oh,
check
yeah.
links. We'll have it in our Linktree thing. Yeah, but I think that's it. I guess we
Yeah.
should just like jump into it, right?
Okay, so if you guys do not know, this is Chase, and he's been helping us out with the podcast for a little while, helped us get started, and he's helping us a lot right now with doing the video and all that stuff. He has 2 YouTube channels, or 3 now?
2. So I'm a nerd. I like to play a lot of video games. So I do a lot of gaming stuff on the gaming channel. It's Chase on YouTube. But I also have another YouTube channel which is for a lot of the video production stuff that I do. Odyssey of Multimedia. That is also the goal, the company name that I have envisioned for the future.
Which we'll go into a little bit later. But
So besides YouTube and all that stuff, you also do a little bit of Twitch streaming and things like that.
Yep.
You use the same name, It's a Chase, as your YouTube channel.
what are some of your go-to games?
Go-to games. So I want to start getting more into COD, but I do need a new setup for that because one of my buddies, he plays a lot of COD as well, and he does some Twitch streams from time to time. So I want to get into more COD with him. But honestly, I mean, for right now, just Minecraft, just building, crafting Minecraft and stuff like that. So Minecraft, do a lot of Halo sometimes as well. So
I know you're in like a Minecraft SMP type of thing. Do you want to talk a little bit about
yeah.
that?
So with that, I was buddy of mine because I have a lot of contacts to say. One of them, he's a filmmaker from Mexico. Hi, if you do listen to this. And his idea, because I met him on a Minecraft server, and his idea, both of our ideas, was to start an SMP. We tried to do it. It's just some of the people who we had brought on initially, they just left without saying anything. There was no like, yeah, I'm not gonna make content anymore here. They just gone. So that was kind of annoying. But at this point, he had already joined another group, and through him as a contact, I was also allowed in as well. So I haven't done much on that, as they are looking to transfer to the new 1.17 update soon. So I haven't really made any content there. Also in part 2, I've just been extremely busy with a lot of more real life projects and stuff like that.
So we'll get into those projects in a little bit, but would you say that your live streaming is kind of just like a side thing you do and it's not like your main focus?
Yeah, so live streams are a lot of the side stuff because it's nice to sit down and just hop on and play games, and especially live streaming as well, and having just like people and entertaining people online. It's kind of a side thing because again, it's just I'm at school all day and then working after school, and you come home and it's hard to have a lot of that sort of energy that you need with Twitch streaming and stuff like that as well, because a lot of the times like other streamers, when they're just sitting there talking, you want to have like energy, you want to have emotion in your streams. You don't want to just be like, hi guys, welcome to my new Twitch stream.
We tried to get into Twitch.
Yeah.
That time. We did
it a couple times.
We gotta go into that more.
I was looking to get more into it. I just got Minecraft.
Yeah.
I've been complaining about not having it for a while.
So,
now.
Did you get the video?
We might be doing a Minecraft series at some point. Wasted
yes.
Potential and
Wasted
Odyssey.
Potential.
Might be a collaboration.
Wasted Potential and Odyssey.
Yeah, so I don't think we said the name of your other channel yet,
Yep.
the Odyssey of Multimedia.
Yes.
That's kind of like the main thing you're focusing on right
Yep.
now, would you say?
Yes, it is.
So tell us a little bit about the projects that you've been doing.
So we just finished. Well, I just finished one of the main projects. Through the school, I found out about this statewide video competition, the Rural Schools Association, where basically the theme of the video was our school, our community connection. So going through, I planned out the videos and stuff like that, and it was an added bonus to actually be able to watch what people had already submitted to the competition, to sit down, pick each video apart so you could see, all right, how did they interpret this theme, and how can I take their interpretation and like modify it and have my own interpretation based off of their interpretation.
Yeah, because they uploaded all of them right onto the YouTube, right
Yep.
onto their YouTube thing, so you could just see, which is
Yep.
kind of
It's-
weird that you would host
Yeah.
a competition and then not just keep all of them,
everything
let
private,
anybody
right.
see as soon as it's yeah. I thought that was kind of
And
weird.
that was actually the second competition I entered. The first one was actually global. It was for the college that I'm planning on going to, Full Sail University. They offered a global filmmaking competition to talk about like one of UNESCO's, I can't remember what the acronym was for, but it was like their sustainability goals, and it was talking about like how can we improve agriculture, how can we improve that, and the area is heavily based on agriculture, and especially this tech room as well. We do a lot of agriculture stuff, so I felt that was something to create. That again, there was a lot of heavy competition for that as well, and that was another thing that you could actually watch other people's submissions. I believe that was back in October that we did that video. That I didn't win anything for because that there's a lot of stuff I did wrong with it. I just
learning experience.
yeah, it was learning. It was a good learning experience. There wasn't a lot of time. We waited until the last minute to produce that video, which that was on me, and that was again good learning experience. Time management,
Get
stuff
your
like that.
get your feet in the water and
But
figure out
this-
what you got to do differently next time.
Yeah, this competition though, it was nice because I knew it ahead of time, and I could actually reuse a lot of the old videos as well because I've saved videos that I filmed. I just never thought I would use it again. We had a presentation a while ago at one of the local businesses, and I filmed the entire thing, and then not knowing what the final product for this video was going to be, but this being actually the second production, that I went back and used clips from that presentation.
Well, you and I actually worked on a project too in the
Yes.
tech room a little bit earlier this year. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the video, but Chase and I worked on a little bit of a drone recap for my drone project that I'm doing in here. And I know I've talked about it on this show before, and some of you guys have been wondering about that. So if you want to check it out, it's on his channel. It's got a lot of views, but so has the new video he posted about our community, which was actually a really good video, and I
We'll
enjoyed
have links to all that stuff.
Yeah, links to everything's
somewhere.
going to be in the description.
Everything, yeah. Everything
Um,
that we talked about today will have links.
But building off of that, you've been posting some teasers on your story and on your Instagram.
Yes.
Something about a cabin or a
Okay.
trailer. What's going
That's
on with
awesome.
that?
That was one of the most experimental videos that I've ever done. To the point that this project, it was a short film, like a narrative short film. It was a piece called Silence. The premise of it is like you have your abandoned explorers, like who will go out and they explore abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And the premise of this was death, basically. And however, like in this imaginary world, he had basically the ability, like say he picked up a splitting axe, and I would overlay an audio clip of the sound of wood being split heard, and it would sort of follow that chain of events of like he grabs something and then you hear basically a sound that correlates with the object that he grabbed. However, with this piece I failed as a director, and I didn't direct it I didn't get what I envisioned out of it. And it still haunts me to this day because I still have, in my mind, I can picture every single shot out. It's just, as a director, I didn't direct the person that I had part of it. I didn't direct him to the point where I wanted to. It's also in part too that this was more of like a experiment. He never acted before. Mm-hmm. So if I were to reshoot this again, I would try to find someone who actually is an actor or who has participated in the stage activities and stuff like that. But it's the point that when watching back the footage, I'm probably going to scrap that that project, mainly because again, it's just, there's a lot of like camera stuff that I messed up with as well, like technical stuff, because like inside the actual building it was extremely dark, so you had to expose for the lighting inside. But outside it was extremely bright, so it was whenever we were walking by a window. In certain cases, there was one shot that I don't have a hazer, but there's a wood fire in there. So we lit a small campfire basically and filled the place with smoke to get a haze effect. One of the shots, it starts off with the door swings open, he steps through, but there's a window right there. So once there was haze, you had a light beam coming through the window. And that, like, there was a few things that what I envisioned did happen, but there was other parts where that didn't happen. But that shot right there, that was one of my favorite shots in this piece that I did. But it was also when we went to the main living room, a portion of the cabin, the windows, they're basically like walls just filled with windows. So you can't see anything outside because I'm exposing for inside. So outside looks extremely bright and it just makes it look terrible.
So is this something that you're planning to maybe restart or tweak some things?
You said scrap the project. Maybe scrap the film that you took, but don't scrap the idea, because it definitely does sound like a good idea, and it sounds like an idea that you've like put a lot of thought into. So like I said earlier, it's a learning curve, learning curve, but
the funny thing about this project was I actually came up with the idea back in October of this year. And this is something that I thought of, was like, okay, I have an idea for a short film. This is an interesting concept, but I just don't have time, so I'm gonna put it on hold.
Yeah.
And it was with the announcement of two other contests, two other film festivals, that brought this project back up into light, and what motivated me to continue working on the project, to actually set it up and film it. And it was after like a couple script revisions and a couple changes and stuff like that we ended up with the final idea. And it is something that in the future I do plan on looking back towards, once obviously I have, I guess, I can't even say better equipment, it's just I plan it out better, I get the lighting more constant, more knowledge,
more experience. So going back to the, what is it, Odyssey of Multimedia?
Yeah.
It's called, So we haven't talked about that too much, but that's a company that you're working on, that you're looking to do in the future when you get out of school, correct?
So it's something that I've been slowly building up now, and I haven't really made it that name isn't known yet, as I've been more doing video productions as Chase, Chase Aaron. And because of that, I still have a lot of like logistics stuff to work out, setting up doing business as Odyssey of Multimedia. Tomorrow I'm going to be looking into getting like actual professional custom made logos for it, instead of doing, because I'm like video production I'm good at, but like actual just like design of logos, that's that's stuff I'm still working on.
As you can see, we're not that great with it either. We kept it pretty simple.
Yeah,
it's pretty straightforward. We didn't even do it.
Key.
Sydney did it.
Yeah,
so
we outsourced our ideas.
Yeah, I have to outsource mine as well, because I have a rough framework for what I want. It's just to go to somebody.
And that's not a bad thing though. To have an idea of what you want and to get help from somebody else, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The funny part is that I was going to do this with a local business. We had a local design company that they did basically like printing, like photos, business cards and stuff like that. So I was gonna go through that. They completely shut down, like the other day. So I was like, all right, so I'll have to schedule a meeting and stuff like that, because when I went downtown to film bits for the RSA video, I saw they had a sign saying that we're moving. So I thought, okay, they're probably just new business locations and stuff like that. Then I was reading the local paper and like, okay, we're shut down. But luckily, they basically said, go to this group instead. They have, like, all of our clients go to them because they have all of like the hard drives. They basically have all of your projects. It's just not us. So that was like, it was annoying to hear that a local business is shutting down, but at least they had planned out And instead of saying, you guys are screwed,
You're on your own, yeah.
they said, okay.
Really, dude? Come on. Alright,
We'll have to start over in a second.
okay.
I think we're good.
Here we go. So with the Odyssey of Multimedia and with your...
Wait, he was saying something.
What were you saying? I thought you finished.
I had finished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So shut up with your Sour Patch Kids.
1 second.
You really just grabbed that box and eat 2 of them?
You told me to shut up.
Just dump some in your hand and don't be as loud. You're like, are you that person at the movie theater that is just like,
Oh my god.
and like making super loud noises? You just gotta like shake the whole box of Whoppers.
I watched Nobody the other day. And great movie. I would go recommend go watch Nobody in
Movie
theaters.
reviews.
Movie reviews.
Which I guess it brings up an interesting point. It's as like someone who like knows how to edit videos and like as a filmmaker, I guess, to watch these movies and sit there and be like, I would have done that differently is interesting because it doesn't take away from watching movies. There's a lot more like I guess in depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there was a scene towards the end of the movie where they had a specific song, and I would have synced it up with some of like the heavy beats of the song. Instead, they just kept it as like one sort of like one camera motion. I would have done something completely different, but the way they did it, it didn't take away from the action of the movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you, but first, Caleb, did you just ask me if I shake the box of Whoppers?
Whoppers.
You know Whoppers are like cheeseburgers from Burger King?
There's also
Whoppers.
I can't-
The chocolate things?
What are
Whoppers.
those?
Buddy, come on, dude.
Really?
Whoppers.
You say Whoppers, I think cheeseburgers.
Whoppers.
Okay, you know what?
Are they like
Wait,
milk duds,
bring up a
kinda?
picture of Whoppers, dude. The candies, the chocolate
They
candies.
come in like the 3 little things and they're disgusting.
Yes, those.
You eat those?
Dude, those are good. What do you mean they're disgusting? If you get the ones that are in the packages, yeah, they're disgusting. I think he knows now, yeah.
Those are disgusting.
You gotta get the ones in the box. Those are the good ones.
You actually eat those?
Yes, I eat those.
Dude,
I don't eat them in movie theaters though because they're loud and obnoxious.
My go-to at movie theaters, Junior Mints.
You get Junior Mints every time we go to a
They're
movie.
so good.
Every time we go to a movie.
Okay.
I hate getting stuff loud.
So my question for Chase. What's like your favorite, I don't know, if you want to just give us a specific movie that's your favorite, or a favorite type of movie, favorite director, or something like that? Because I know a lot of people say like,
wormhole right there.
yeah,
That's tough. Yeah, black hole.
a lot of people
No.
say like Tarantino, but I mean,
Yeah, like from a videographer's point of view, like what's your favorite?
because you probably
Yeah.
appreciate like the design choices.
I mean,
a
yeah,
lot
kind of
more
going
than
back, kind
somebody
of the
else.
same type of thing. Going back with our interview with Riley, like he talked about the way that he sees music differently than most
than
people.
other people.
Speaking of Riley, I actually did a video production, or he actually helped produce music. It was one of the very first times that it was one of the bigger projects that I produced early on in my time, but it was also one of the very first music that he produced as well. And it was for, I can't remember, I think it was actually, no, the very first major production I ever did. He produced the music for it. It was also one of his very first times producing the music for it as well. And
That's pretty neat.
That's pretty
It's-
cool, actually.
I'm pretty sure that he would rip it a new one if he listened to the music that he produced for that video again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's the same thing with me as well, though. Like I'll be listening, like I'll be watching my old videos. It's just like, oh my god, I did so much stuff wrong. I hate my past self.
It's the same.
Caleb
yeah.
was just talking the other day, like he listened to our first episode of the podcast.
Yeah, I
and
can't.
It was bad.
Listening, I had to go to a college visit, so I drove like 6 hours there and back.
Yeah.
And I was able to re-listen to a couple of our episodes, and let me just tell you guys, I don't know how we got like almost 200 views. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. It was absolutely terrible. It was so bad.
I mean, it
Like,
is wasted potential.
It was so bad.
Hey,
It was
I would
terrible.
recommend our new ones to anybody who's
Yes,
thinking of
if you
Yeah.
were trying to get somebody to listen, or if you're listening to this one, I told someone today, I was talking about, because we were setting all this up, And he goes, I haven't really listened to anything yet. Should I start? And I was like, don't start from the beginning. Don't do it. Do not.
Exactly.
Don't.
No.
Go from our last one and then just go down until it starts to suck. Then just stop.
I mean, I think
I
a good
started-
starting point would even be like the Riley episode.
That's what I
mean,
said.
We, have some
had
good,
a
funny
couple good
episodes in
ones
there, too.
before. We had a couple episodes before that were good, but it wasn't like guaranteed that you were going to actually be able to sit through the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I listened to the entire thing in the first one. And from that one, I jumped to the Riley episode.
Yeah,
because
that's a good idea.
That was one of the ones I really wanted to listen to because
Yeah,
again,
that one got
hearing,
pretty big.
yeah, hearing some of the stuff that you thought. But to answer the question about sort of like favorite movies and stuff like that, favorite genre has to be action, honestly. But my favorite movie, favorite movie is tough because there's a lot of good movies out there.
Mhm.
Favorite movie soundtrack though is
Oh.
between two movies,
Okay.
and it's one of them is Avengers Endgame.
The
Okay.
soundtrack.
Yes,
Yeah.
the soundtrack.
Okay, I never thought that.
No, because the scene. Now, spoilers for Endgame.
Endgame's been out for a while. If you haven't seen it, draw.
Yeah. The scene where it's like they were coming through the portals and stuff like that. That soundtrack, because I was in Geneseo.
That just whole scene just gave me
That
chills.
yeah, chills.
Oh my
and
God.
it's in parts of the soundtrack because the way they did the soundtrack, there's a certain point where the soundtrack kind of like goes downhill, honestly, in that sort of scene, and that's like after they start the big fight and everything, how the soundtrack kind of gets off. But the other movie, and I'm gonna getting kicked in the balls for saying this, the movie Twister.
Really?
Yes.
For real?
I'll be honest, the soundtrack to that one, I don't know very much, but I think that movie gets way too much hate. I'll be honest. I think that movie gets way too much
The
hate.
movie Twister, the soundtrack to that. Now I grew up watching that movie, but I would honestly say that has one of the best soundtracks out there. And again, that's my opinion.
What are you thinking?
I'm the type of guy, which sounds weird because I know last episode we just got in an argument over music and stuff like that.
Classical music. Shut up, Kellen.
I'm the
We're not
type
talking-
of guy who doesn't really pay too much attention to the soundtrack.
Yeah, I don't
like,
either.
of
Not too
course, like with your Jurassic Parks or your Avengers or your
much.
Star
Guardians of
Wars,
the Galaxy.
like you know
Yeah.
what's going on. In
Yeah.
them. But I feel like with most movies, if they do it good, it's
You
like
don't even
you don't
notice.
even notice. But like
Yeah.
it immerses you so much. In it.
Yeah.
Right, and that goes
That's
back
what-
to
yeah.
Nobody was one of the final scenes. Again, they had a song, and it's Pat Benner's Heartbreaker. That's all I will say. Nothing more for that scene. But they had that song, and with some of the beats, I would have synced up. I would have basically made it so the camera syncs up with the beats of the music. But again, that's also coming off of the RSA video, because normally I
You had that
didn't.
Ford truck commercial music
Yeah.
in there.
I didn't care about music really until this video, where this video I said I need a soundtrack first, and I'll structure the video around the soundtrack that I choose. And in the very opening scene, there's a constant beat going on, and I thought to myself, all right, with this constant beat, let's see if I can get video clips to sync up with that beat.
Yeah, and I watched. I'm sure you've watched it too. It does. You do a really good job.
And-
You do a really good job of doing that.
It synced up nicely, so it was nice to have that sort of like the constant beat with the music as well. And with that video as well, there was actually a scene where we talked about one of the local pizzerias, but they were closed until the middle of this week, and the deadline was last Friday. So I couldn't include them. So what I had to do was basically take that part of the voiceover out completely. And luckily, the way I did the voiceover is I paused in between sentences, so I could take out and add clips if I needed to. So I took the clip out, shortened it a bit, and as a result of that, there's actually, when the voiceover ends, it syncs up with the music and it actually crescendos.
That's cool.
And it was completely unplanned. And when I first heard it, I immediately thought, all right, I have to find a scene, or I have to find a video clip that basically matches to that. And what I found was, with one of the productions I did for the local state park, it was one of our big drones like taking off, and gold.
So do you like filming with drones, or would you prefer having a more hands-on approach?
I don't have my drone license yet, but I am there whenever like some people are flying drones and stuff like that. I'm there and I'm over the shoulder. It's like, okay, can you get this shot? Can you get that shot? Drones have their place in my mind. The thing is what's nice is when you sometimes want to ground videos in reality. I'm going to give an example. Pacific Rim, the first Pacific Rim. The way they did it is they had made it seem more realistic because you have your giant mechs, but every single shot was like you could be on a helicopter or it's from the ground.
Right.
The second one though, it's like quick like movements all over the place, and that breaks you from reality.
Mm-hmm.
And the drones, it's nice to have it, but in certain scenarios, depending on what you're doing, it breaks away from the reality.
Right.
I want to ask what I was trying to ask earlier, but then I got rudely just shot down for it.
I'm sorry about your whoppers.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, so with Odyssey of the Mind, you...
Odyssey of the Mind?
Odyssey of
Multimedia.
Odyssey of the Mind.
Yeah,
that's
that's
Odyssey of the
Mind.
At least I didn't think that. At least I know what whoppers are, Kellen.
Okay.
Okay, at least I don't like classical music.
I like classical music.
Classical music is good. See, Chase agrees with
Okay.
me.
We're not gonna go on that again, or else that's gonna be the rest of the episode.
Beethoven.
So, with Odyssey of Multimedia, and what was the RSA? What's it called?
The Rural Schools Association. That was
RSA. So with that, you have more of like a making kind of like an advertisement type of video. Is that correct? So, and then with your other project that we talked about earlier, it's more of like a movie type thing. What one do you enjoy doing more?
That was tough because I feel as if I were to edit the movie style, I would enjoy that.
But if you were to get better at it.
Yeah, but working on this RSA video.
That was kind of mean.
No, it's not. I'm not being mean.
No, it wasn't at all.
I'm just saying, like, once he like improves at it, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
can you agree that now that we like are better at doing this and we know what we're doing, it's more fun to record these than when at the very beginning?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Shut up.
I'm sorry
Continue,
for his
Chase.
rudeness, Chase.
Shut up.
This is every episode. It's fine. Go ahead.
But the RSA video, it was nice because again, it was like, I guess, telling a story, and that's why, because I do a lot of live streams as well, for local businesses, schools, and stuff like that. But even like, one of the things that I would like to stay away from is weddings. I do not want to do wedding videography. Because for me, it's like, even with this, I could tell a story with the edit, and with weddings, it's like, you're basically, like, even every video, you're telling the same story.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
You can't change it, and like.
That's also a very large market right
Yes.
there. Like I feel like that's something that if you did get into it, you would have to be very difficult.
It's like you got one shot too, and if you get it wrong,
Yeah, exactly. You one shot.
You can't be like, excuse me, can you just walk back up there? Just
Yeah,
redo
exactly.
the vows
Right,
real quick
yeah,
for me.
redo
Take
everything.
the ring off, put it back on.
That's why, like, I personally, I do not want to touch that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
because if I mess up the exposure, I can't change that.
Yeah.
But with this RSA video, like, if I messed up something, which there was a couple stuff that I did mess up on, it's just time constraints at this point. But if I really wanted to, I would have gone back out and I would have reshot it. And I did consider it. It's just I didn't feel that there was really a point in it, especially seeing the competition. I'm not gonna be biased.
He's humble.
But it was just, there was a lot of stuff that I would have done differently with the RSA video. But again, it's just watching it back, and that video was the longest video that I've ever. It's like 3 minutes long, 2 minutes 40 seconds. But I spent 26 hours editing this video for a 3-minute video.
Yeah, but like you said, time constraint. You had a deadline, so when you have more time, you're able to go back and fix those things and make it even better. So.
Mm-hmm. But it's also another thing that with video production as well is that when you never like truly finish with a project, because I could take every clip that I shot for this RSA video, give it to anybody else, and there's an unlimited different like takes and different storylines that you could go through this video. And it's just the video will not be perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. And it's just sitting down and like trying to make the best video possible within a set time, and being willing enough to sit down and be like, okay, it's done. I should not touch this anymore. I have to lock in this edit, because if I change one little thing, I could change the entire tone of the video and then have to re-edit everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the hardest things as well, is to try to to set something in mind and to go through and not decide last minute, I'm gonna change the entire format of the video.
So you had mentioned live streaming a little bit. If you don't already know, Chase, every athlete, every parent, grandparent of an athlete owes a huge thanks to you. You did our schools, you did the football games, well, you're still doing the football games, basketball, soccer. You have live streamed almost just about every single sporting event that we've had here in our high school. Is that something that you enjoyed, or are you going to try to stay away from
that was
kind
one
of
of the
stuff?
things that I actually did enjoy doing, was because it was, I guess, like sitting behind the camera and actually being able to like watch your guys' games. Especially one of the best ones that I did was wrestling, because you're sitting there and like, and this, again, I'm a little biased towards wrestling because this is the second year that I've helped out with wrestling. Well, for a lot of their sports, it's still in the first year, but it's especially like being that bridge, especially with this year as well. It's being the bridge between the community and the school. Is to be scrolling through the comments like after like a match, like in wrestling, and have people it's like just cheering them on.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just knowing that it's like that is such a positive impact on the community. And honestly, I've talked to the superintendent of the school as well, and we've come to the agreement that even after I graduate, and when like even if we do reopen back up and we get a lot of spectators again, we'll still be hosting these live streams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which a lot of the other schools will probably do away with it
Yeah.
once it's done, because they're doing it out of necessity. But yes, we did it out of necessity, but we're realizing the potential of this, because we'll be going through and we'll see parents and grandparents in Florida, Tennessee,
Yeah.
just across the state. And I think I even saw a comment from someone completely different country, which is like, thank you for doing this, because we can sit down, we can watch our nephew, our grandson wrestle.
Like even
Play
with,
basketball.
even like once COVID, everything opens up back up, like personally, my dad lives 2.5 hours away. He was able to watch for the first time in like ever, and at any grade, he was able to watch just about every soccer game that I had, and just about every basketball game. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it seems like certainly the pandemic ruined a lot of opportunities for some people, but it seems like it opened up a lot of new opportunities and new
maybe
experiences
not,
for
yeah,
you.
I think it opened up some doors for people, but it also gave a different point of view for a lot of things. Like it allowed us to look at a lot of things differently, which
It's forcing an evolution
Yeah.
on something that really doesn't have the...
Because as a result of this, because again, I know in the past, it's been years of talk like online state tests, online regions and stuff like that, but no one was really willing to make the jump, because it's especially, all these schools, they're stuck in the old ways of paper. Nobody wants to do anything different. Even in our school, probably 75% of the teachers not once touched Google Classroom. But because of this year...
Oh, yeah, you can tell too. You can definitely tell.
I'm walking to class, Chase, come help fix this. And I'm coming.
Yeah, Chase is our local
Chase is the
IT
tech
guy for the
pretty
teachers.
much. Pretty much. But no, it's just, it's forcing an evolution, and
Yeah.
a lot of people like, when they started this podcast, you were online learning, and now here you are physically in school. Sort of like, how does that make you feel though?
Like going from online to in school. Hey, it's an adjustment. I mean, going from in-person learning last year to going to online was an adjustment for everybody.
Yeah.
But I mean, personally, it doesn't affect me as much as it might affect other people. But I think that definitely for a lot of people, that at-home option is, maybe for some people they use it because it's easier, cheap a little bit. But which I have admitted to doing once or twice on this podcast. But for some people, it really helps them. It takes away from that stress of being there all day. And
yeah. Because in our school, I was actually one of the first people who had to quarantine. When the school got its first confirmed case, I was one of the people who they called up. It's like, you have to quarantine. Thankfully, this was 3 days after the last soccer game. I dodged a bullet.
That would have been tough.
And right before the winter sports started, like the rest, like basketball and stuff like that, I was sitting there going, should I go online for the next few months just so I don't have to quarantine?
Which is what a lot of athletes.
Yeah, a lot of
athletes are doing that. I mean,
we haven't had any cases in this area in quite a while.
Well, we did have the one the day that I come back from in person, from online. The day I come back to in person, we get a case.
Yeah.
The last time I said that, actually, it was actually the day before. I was talking with a tech teacher, with one of my friends. We're just like, yeah, you're surprised you haven't got a case. The next day, I was on my way home from, no, it was actually that very night, I was on my way home from skiing, I had a phone call, I have to quarantine! God! I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been recording for.
Probably a while. Do you know what time it is?
It's 2:22. So you got time?
38 minutes.
38 minutes? Alright, so we're going to
The rest of your points.
Try to finish this off real quick. Okay, so I don't want to get into photography too much, but you do a little bit of photography. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Do.
Stop.
That's like the fourth time you said it.
I know, I keep saying it and I laugh every single time. You do a little bit of photography. So what, like, is there a difference for you in like what you enjoy more, videography, photography?
It's, with photos, it's a lot easier because, again, it's photos, and a lot of people understand this as well. Because with pictures, it's you set your object up, make sure like all your lighting is in one spot and your lighting is good. Because I specialize in a lot of like product photography. For example, if you follow me on Instagram, it's Chase, or Odyssey,
Link
Odyssey
down below.
Multimedia, what he said. You'll see some of the stuff that I do, and it's nice in that regard because, again, it's just like you set the object down, you get your lighting right, and you snap a picture. With video though, it's an extra level because you have to make sure your exposure's right. You have to make sure there's a lot of more in-depth stuff.
More detail.
And more details. Also, like when you're shooting a video, and especially if you're like moving as well, you can't just like set a light up somewhere because you have to hide the light, make sure nobody can see it. And if I had someone like running audio as well, you have to make sure the audio sounds good. There's a lot of extra steps with video, and it's,
as you can see,
we have a pretty big setup.
we have a big setup, and let me tell you, it takes us, for me and Kellen to start recording, it takes us 2 minutes. We hop on Discord and we're like, alright, let's go.
Let's record. Yeah.
This, we had to do tests before spring break.
Yep.
We came in, me and Chase set this up a little bit earlier today. We came in before, like 20 minutes before we actually started recording to set everything up. It's a lot more, there's a much longer process.
Yeah, it's a lot complex, well, just more complicated. Again, I mean, you guys can tell, but
Yeah,
there's a
you can't
light
even
over
see.
there, there's a light
lights,
here
but
to sort of give us like a nice edge lighting. But honestly, most days I would prefer video over pictures. Because again, it's in that regard of as well, like nobody else in the area can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm special in that regard for
photography is definitely more popular.
having that ability, because no one wants to make the extra jump in the video. No one wants.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, with how expensive video can be.
But I mean, you're already set up for the video, so it's got to be a lot easier for you to transition into photography than it would be for somebody to go in the opposite direction that you did.
So, one of my more recent purchases, and probably the best thing I've ever bought for what I do, is the Sony A6100. It is a small, compact, mirrorless camera. That one right there.
And real quick, is that your favorite camera?
Yes, by far.
Okay. We had a fan question about that. That is your favorite camera piece of equipment as well?
Yeah, by far. Because again, it's just, with that camera, it's versatile in the fact that it's small, so I could put it on a gimbal. The RSA video, like any of the shots that I had to get, it was that camera and a gimbal. And it was that startup is what got me through finishing that RSA video. But it's just, I can take videos with it, like 4K videos, but I can also do photos. And it's having that nice balance to be basically turn around and say, all right, let's shoot a video here, or I'm going to like on a vacation somewhere, instead of just like having the giant video camera.
Yeah.
Big guy. I can just have that, plus also with like having the interchangeable lenses, because normally I used to use a 16 to 55 millimeter lens. That I believe there's something wrong with it, which is why I stopped using it. But now I have an 18 to 105, and that lens is basically going to stay on it forever, as it's a nice balance between a wide but also a close. And the other lens that I have for it is a 55 to 210, which that's for more like if I wanted to see something way off in the distance, that's what I'd have that lens for. But it's having the versatile options of swapping back and forth between the different lenses.
Alright, so we are pretty much. You have any other questions?
Did you have any more fan questions?
Well, I don't, not really.
Okay.
Well, kind of. I just want to, just real quick, nice, short and sweet. What got you into videography, and what got you into starting photography?
So, as a lot of like content creators and stuff like that, it's you're following a lot of other people, and you take inspiration from them. And one of my biggest inspirations was a group, filmmakers in California, Corridor Digital. They do a lot of more like the short films and VFX stuff like that. But it was through them and seeing, I guess, how much like enjoyment and fun they put into it. But also people like Peter McKinnon on YouTube. He's one of the more like well-known filmmakers out there. And it was just watching them and their passion for it is what got me into it. But it was also getting like a GoPro. And you always start with your first camera. So it was getting a GoPro and then filming my first skiing video with GoPro. And it was like editing that and then seeing the editing process and just learning that over time. With photography though, again, it was more along the lines of going back in with video. Like video is the step beyond photography. So video, it's then going back through and learning some of the photography tricks. Just like getting...
You're fine.
We got a live audience here.
Yep. Getting the like tricks for photography, make sure the light levels are good for product photography and stuff like that. So
cool. Any other questions you got? I don't know. I think that basically wraps it up. Anything else that you wanted to say, Chase, that we didn't get to, or?
No, honestly, I mean, one of the projects that I do have in mind, as earlier we were talking about the failed short film,
Oh yeah, yep.
to
Go ahead, talk about that.
remedy that, and this is sort of inspiration off the RSA video as well, is with one of the local state parks, I'm going to basically create sort of like a advertisement for that state park, and then see if I can get in contact with like local travel agencies and stuff like that to see if I can get funding to do like a full-on like travel thing for Western New York.
Yeah.
That would be pretty
Let
cool,
us, if you can do that, let us know, because we would, I mean, personally, I'd love to like help you out or like be a part of that somehow.
That would be awesome.
Just around Western New York, different cool places that you can visit. Yeah, I think we definitely, I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but I think that'd be pretty cool to be a part of
I mean,
that.
we want to start doing more like in-person videos.
Yeah,
things like that
in-person
too.
things, reviews. We just, that's about all we got is reviews right now. So
reviews,
if we could go places and do reviews with you,
Yeah.
and that's about all we got. Everything, all of our ideas right now are food review, movie review, this review, that review.
Yeah.
So,
The wasted potential movie review. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
honestly though, food reviews, we want to start doing that.
Yeah.
So,
I think we have to have a
especially-
grill off sometime.
We gotta, I can't grill, so you're gonna win. It's just gonna be Kellen
Well,
grilling and
I
Caleb
mean-
making a fool of himself.
Unless you invite me.
Hey,
because-
Chase
Can you grill?
Yeah.
Everybody
Everybody
grill off
bring
here,
their
folks.
own
Grill off here, folks.
All right, everybody. I think we're about ready to wrap it up.
I think we are. So yeah, Chase, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for letting us use your camera equipment.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Hopefully, we'll be able to use it a little more with some more in-person things. We're hoping to do some more in-person recordings here soon. Definitely like this a lot more than just
That's a great
sitting at
setup.
home. Yeah. So we'll have links to your YouTube, your Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Go check him out. He's got some really cool stuff on there. And other than that,
One last thing, since we did our face reveals today, let me know if you think I need a haircut, but besides
we've done
that...
a face review before this. We did the live.
Oh yeah, not in a while. Still, let me know if I need a haircut.
He does need a haircut.
I don't think so, but everybody else seems to think so.
I think Kellen's just trying to get attention.
Yeah.
That's about it. He just wants attention.
But I've been Kellen.
I listen to classical music.
That's
Classical-
been Caleb.
Classical music is good.
Shut up.
And
Chase.
that's been Chase, and we're the Wasted Potential Podcast. Thank you for listening.
See you guys.
See ya.